Record. Okay, we're recording now. This is Coach Basics. I'll call this part 1 because we're not going to be able to get through all of it in this one call. And let me share my screen. There we go. Share. Okay. Let me know if you can see this okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oops. Okay. No, go back to the beginning. There we go. Okay, so Coach Basics training. Basically, in this PowerPoint, I am covering expectations of a coach, your why, your story and coming out post, social media basics, 4 vital behaviors of coaching, and Success Club / Success Starter. So expectations of a coach, and this is for everybody, whether you're new or you've been in the business forever and for years and years, is to show up every day for your business, be willing to go outside your comfort zone a little bit, keep it simple, and trust the process. Anytime that I have gotten overwhelmed or I've started to second guess myself or about the business, or I've just started to feel like I can't do this, and kind of that slippery slope, it's because I wasn't keeping it simple and trusting the process. And so always going back to these basics has helped me just keep realigning myself, and sticking with what is really going to make my business build and grow. So your why is one of the most important things that you need to have. You almost need to have it like as a note in your phone that you can quickly go to. And this may change over time, but this is your whole reason for being a coach. And I have a little blurb here that's from our online, our Team Beachbody online training. But your why is the reason you became a Team Beachbody coach. But don't let this simple explanation fool you. Having a clear why is one of your most powerful tools as a coach. A meaningful why will help you push through obstacles, stay focused on your goals, and help you connect with others in a meaningful way. Most new coaches can struggle to identify a meaningful why for a coach. Consider the following questions to help you. So where do you add value to others? What are your personal strengths? What makes you come alive? How will you measure success in your life? How can Beachbody help with the most important things in your life? Why does it matter to you? Knowing why you're a coach will give you your business a sense of purpose that will make it easier to connect with others. And people are drawn to people who have a sense of purpose because it gives some common ground to build on. So if you have that big, deep why, that is what you can go back to when you're second guessing yourself or when you're making things feel complicated, or you're just kind of having one of those down days, which I, have here and there. My why personally is I have 2 young kids, and I was working in like huge corporate company, and I hated my life. I was crying all the time. I was stressed out. And I realized after having kids that I kind of wanted to have the freedom to be with them, but I also wanted to do something on my own. Before I even ran into Beachbody, I was starting to come up with some of my own ideas and whatnot. So this provides me the opportunity to run my own business, to work my own hours, to work where I want, to be with my kids, and ultimately create that financial freedom. And that's really what drives me, because I know that that financial freedom will give us all of those shiny, pretty things that I can put on my vision board. But it takes that time and that grind to get to it. So you have to keep that vision board. You have to keep that why like forefront so that you remember why we're sitting here on a Monday night on this call when we could be watching Netflix. Why are we doing this? Because we have a strong why. And then secondly, your story is super important. because this is going to come up whenever you're having conversations with people and you're trying to relate with them, but it's also completely your content for your post. Because you can have like pages of your story and you can take snippets of this and use this as your content, because you don't want to overload people when you're posting, but you can, when you're trying to do like a post where you're trying to really connect and like get to people's heartstrings, this is where you can take snippets out of it and post about it. So each time you do kind of post about a piece of your story, or whether it's your whole story, you want to find the right starting point. So don't begin with your childhood or your parents, but start with the obstacle that was keeping you miserable, numb, or stuck in a rut, instead of describing your full past in chronological order. 2, find the defining moment. What was the reversal of fortune, the major whirlwind that made you stop and rethink change? What was the climactic turning point that you felt was the end and you weren't going to recover from it? 3, cross the threshold. Describe the initial reaction you had when your coach first mentioned the opportunity. Were you surprised, flattered, or skeptical? Then take your audience into the Beachbody world as you describe how your upline coach brought you into coaching. End with a defining feel-good moment. End with the priceless feel-good moments of your transformation and the triumph of being a successful coach with a thriving business. What did your coaching do for your family? Looking back, how do you enjoy life without the vices? And then I think I cut it off. Without the vices that were, but the main point is there. From my own personal experience, I spent probably the entire first year of coaching not sharing enough of all of these. I didn't share enough about my story. I didn't share enough about coaching. I was still hiding a little bit. I think I had fear, and it took me like a year to figure it out and start doing it. And I almost feel like I started from square one, because you might feel like you're redundant in posting pieces of your story or talking about coaching, but it takes that for people to finally see it sometimes, or for it to even register. So sometimes people don't even see your posts. They see some of them, not all of them. Sometimes people see them, but it's not really registering until they see it a lot, many times. So providing, this full picture of your story or of coaching is really what's going to help people connect with you in the long term. So this is an example of someone's their story and their coming out post. I'm not sure if you've done I think you did a coming out post, didn't you, Danielle?
Yeah.
And so that's huge, because that kind of tells the world like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm on this journey, and I'm kind of decided to launch this business, and providing the, whole piece of your story and kind of the picture, whatever that may be. A lot of people use transformation posts because that's always kind of scroll stopping. But definitely, if anyone's watching this that hasn't done a coming out post, or if it's been a long time since you've posted a transformation post or talked about your story, think about doing like another kind of coming out post if people may have forgotten what you're doing. Social media basics. This is super basic because we could have an entire training where we delve into all the details of this. But social media basics, launch your business. So this is your coaching business's grand opening month. So make sure people know you're open for business. Post a picture of yourself announcing you're a coach and what you do. Share your journey regardless of your fitness level right now. Share clips of your workouts, pictures of yourself after your workouts, healthy recipes, photos or clips of yourself being proof of the product. And if you don't know this, we don't want to be spammy. So we don't want to like hold Shakeology cup with the, like, here's me drinking my Shakeology. I personally just kind of incorporate it into my stories. Maybe I'm drinking it while I'm talking, or I'm just kind of referring to it as my breakfast and why I love having it, because it's such a fast breakfast on the go, or things like that. So I'm working it in, but I'm not being weird and salesy about it. So it just increases your followers and opens up opportunities for conversation and helps you connect with more people. A lot of people will drink Energize on their stories, and there's so many different terms for it: unicorn crack, liquid gold, go-go juice, mommy fuel, hashtag better than coffee is mine. And that's what we call curiosity marketing. So again, you're using it in your stories and you're holding it, maybe you're talking about it, but you're not showing people the container. You're not being salesy like, oh, here's this thing called Energize, because then they can go look it up and just buy it online. But instead, if you create that curiosity, which I've personally seen firsthand, what I've done with Energize is I created the curiosity, and I constantly have people going, hey, what's that hashtag better than coffee that you're drinking? I need to try some of that. So I can say firsthand that it does work. Show up daily. Share things about your family and other elements of your life that will help others connect and relate with you, and not just Beachbody. Include posts that provide value to your followers, recipe ideas, workout tips, creative ways to manage your time, as that will engage people in positive ways and help you add more followers to expand the reach of your coaching business. I mean, the main point of that is showing up daily. So whether you need to use an app to help remind you to post like I do, or just, you know, using that daily tracker because that reminds you, you just need to be consistent with showing up and posting each day. And I personally use Instagram, and most of my business probably comes through Instagram stories. So I try to make sure that I have like at least about 8 per day, and that I switch them up so that I don't have too many like just regular videos or just photos or just boomerangs. Like I try to do, maybe here's me talking in a few clips, and then maybe I have just a photo of something, and then maybe a boomerang, and then I have a few more talking. So that kind of breaks it up a little bit, and it makes it more entertaining. And you don't want too many of yourself talking in a row because people will just swipe right past you. So do's and don'ts of social media marketing. Do share bits of your story, but don't post negative stories or posts like ranting or politics, controversial topics, repeating the same thing over and over. It's one thing to talk about kind of struggles, like I like to talk about mom life struggles and humor, but you want to make it more just that, make it humor, or like give it an uplifting spin, and not just be kind of negative in everything. Don't spam. No blatant ads, you know, where people will post just like a graphic of like, oh, we're having a huge sale, and it's just like a total ad. Or like buy now or click here. That all sounds very salesy. Or posting only Beachbody products. Instead, you know, we're just trying to show ourselves as real people using these products and talking about why we like them. They're not following, or sorry, they are following you, not Beachbody. Think of it like dating. Don't come on too strong. Do show up every day, as we said before. Post at least once, if not more. And if you're on Instagram, use your stories. Don't be elusive. The point of social media is to interact and create connections. So like, comment, or message people interacting with your stories, posts, and page. Whenever you're doing this, this will also, just due to algorithms in Instagram, this will help kind of boost your stories, will show up on people's pages like closer to the beginning, and your posts will show up the more that you're interacting with people. And the same goes for using polls and questions in your stories. Like you could use one or the other, maybe once a day. And you can do health and fitness related ones, but I've noticed those get like no interaction. But if I do a poll or a question about something totally random, like today my kid was climbing all over the table, and I was like, is your kid a climber? Because everybody wants to vote on that. So something that people want to give their opinion for, and that will also help boost your stories. So 4 vital behaviors of coaching. Maybe we will get through this whole thing. What time is it? Yes, awesome. Okay, 4 vital behaviors of coaching. These are the things that you should be doing each day. These are things that you'll see on that daily business tracker. Number 1 being invite, invite, invite. So when you're inviting, be clear, be conversational. No one likes to feel salesy when talking with other people. You'll feel salesy when you focus, when your focus is on you instead of helping the other person. We want to share and build relationships, not sell and make transactions. Remember, you're asking them to make a simple decision to help improve their quality of life. So relax and don't put so much pressure on yourself or them. So my favorite way to to start when I'm inviting someone is to ask them about their goals and their challenges, because right off the bat, that shows them that I'm not just trying to make a sale, that I'm also trying to get to know them and, you know, what they actually need. And third, I can actually provide options that address their goals, challenges, and concerns. So it's a lot easier when you suggest something and then you can tie it into, well, you mentioned that you wanted to strengthen your core, and this program definitely will help you do that. So definitely getting them to talk a lot more up front, and then you can tie in those things whenever you're presenting an option, some kind of challenge pack. Repeat as necessary. Many times people won't accept your first invitation, which is totally okay and totally normal. They may just be looking for additional information, or the timing might be tough. Continue to add value to them and follow up from time to time, and then invite them again when you feel the time is right. So you'll hear this probably in the future, but the fortune is in the follow-up. You can pretty much guarantee that majority of people will say no whenever you invite them for the first time. Unless they're in your warm market, then they might say yes. But if it's someone that you've never talked to and maybe they haven't been following you for a very long time, chances are that they might say yes, but probably majority of them will say no. And then what they'll do is they'll continue to follow you and watch you. And if they don't, that's fine. They're not your tribe. If they're not interested, they can move on, because you're weeding those people out. So just remember that it takes, I want to say, I've heard an average of 7 times for people to finally accept an invitation. And so follow-ups don't have to feel weird. Whenever somebody turns me down, I ask them, I kind of say, that's totally fine. I'm not putting pressure on them, right? As we said in here. So I say, that's totally fine. Do you mind if I follow up in a couple months? Or do you mind if I follow up before my next challenge? I would say like 90% of the time they respond back and say, yeah, sounds good. And then I put them on my tracker, and then I almost have a like welcomed invite to follow up with them again. And it doesn't feel weird at all. If I've invited them a couple times and they've said no, I might start addressing their objections. Which we can talk about more in, that's like a whole nother topic, and we've had team calls on that, so we can link that or talk about that later. But you want to start addressing objections, because if you're too passive, it's just easy for people to keep being like, you know, and you may not realize that there's actually something simple that you could explain to them that could help change their mind. That's happened to me before. Okay, vital behavior number 2, be proof of the products. The most valuable thing a new coach can be armed with is positive experience and elevated belief in the Beachbody products. Their conviction and passion born from their own personal positive experience will be the most powerful tool for their success as a coach, and it starts from day one. Treat your new coach like your best customer and make sure they build the habits they need to see the results from the Beachbody products. So I guess this is kind of geared more towards like treating somebody that you signed up as a new coach. But regardless, you should, you know, part of the daily tracker is doing your workouts each day and drinking your shakes and just being proof of the product. So if there's a program you haven't tried, like I just wanted to try Insanity because I've heard good things about it, but I'd never done it. So I decided to kind of commit and do the full 8 weeks. And I did the whole program, and I do the meal planning, and then I share that on my social media. So I'm not just kind of like elusively doing workouts and kind of staying fit. I'm like, okay, I've got some goals. I'm starting this new program. It's been really tough, blah, blah, blah. And I have something like new to talk about. Plus, I have firsthand experience of a program that I can recommend to someone if someone wants cardio. Insanity Max 30 is definitely for them, because that stuff was crazy. And trying the products, because again, if you're recommending something, it's good if you've tried it before. Personal development is definitely a key vital behavior to fit in every day, even if you're getting in like 10, 15 minutes. So it'll help you focus on the things in your life that you can control to make a difference in your life and your business. This small change in how you view the world can make a huge difference. It will help you have the belief and confidence to set courageous goals and have a big vision for yourself and what you can achieve. Remember, when you do things others aren't willing to do, you get the results that others can't have. So don't skip your personal development. Spend at least 10 minutes a day on personal development. You can read or listen to a book like The Compound Effect, listen to personal development podcasts, get up on our national wake-up call, which is every Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific time, or use the resources in the Success on Demand section of your coach office. There are unlimited sources for personal development. Of course, there's tons of books or audiobooks, but I personally like to go on YouTube, and when I feel like I'm struggling with a specific aspect to coaching, I'll look that up. I'll either Google it and look at through the videos, or I'll go straight to YouTube. And a lot of times I just end up watching team calls from other top coaches, because they just might be going into training on a specific subject that I'm ready to hear about, or they talk about it a different way. And, you know, and that's what I'm looking for. Like, if I'm really trying to, like, improve my inviting, which I was kind of looking into the other day, I started watching some YouTube videos on that. Even though I've been doing this for 2 years, I just like to make sure that I don't stay stagnant or do the same old thing. I want to make sure that I'm switching it up and seeing what's working. So YouTube is a great resource. And number 4, recognition creates a positive platform for your team to learn about overcoming obstacles. By recognizing and rewarding positive behaviors, your team members feel valued and motivated to continue their journey. So recognize your challengers, your coaches on your team, the supportive people in your life, because that's going to, you know, keep everybody, you know, involved, supportive, and gratitude is one of the best things that we can do for ourselves each day. So Success Club, for anybody that doesn't know or that's brand new, it is our main recognition and rewards program. So you earn Success Club points for every person you help get started with a challenge pack, or on a monthly subscription order of Shakeology, which is called Home Director HD for short. You earn 2 Success Club points for every person you help with a challenge pack, and 1 Success Club point for every person you help with a Shakeology HD order. As a coach, when you have your own HD order of Shakeology and earn at least 5 Success Club points in a month, you are in Success Club for that month. Successful coaches make earning their Success Club status a non-negotiable each month in their business. So set a goal to help 3 to 5 people each month and get in Success Club. And then what I don't include on here is that Beachbody has an annual Success Club trip that is usually at a tropical destination. It's about 5 days long, and it's paid for you and a guest. And this is based entirely on you making your performance with Success Club, and that's how you earn money towards the trip. So you may not realize right now what you're doing is actually going to matter where you're at in terms of getting invited to the next Success Club trip. So definitely make it your goal to hit Success Club. If you find that you're struggling with it, or that you're scrambling at the end of the month, I switched up how I was doing things, and I started setting up my challenge groups to start in the middle of the month. So I created a deadline and a little bit of pressure on myself to heavily invite in the very beginning of the month. And I could include on my stories that, you know, the deadline for signing up was coming up. And I noticed that I was able to hit Success Club much earlier in the month, versus when I was having my challenge groups start at the beginning of the month, and I was always scrambling last minute trying to make Success Club 6 or 10 at the very end of the month. So if you kind of change the structure of your inviting and do it that way, I've just noticed that it makes it a lot easier, and you can continue inviting, but at least you're kind of sitting pretty with hopefully being in Success Club. And then Success Starter. So this is when you earn Success Club in each of your first 3 months. You're what is called a Success Starter. From a special call with Beachbody CEO Carl Deichler, when you earn Success Club in your first month, to a free ticket to our annual Coach Summit after you've earned it in your 3rd month. It's a great goal for every new coach. So our annual Coach Summit is our our one kind of Beachbody leadership training event that every single coach is invited to attend. This year it's going to be in July or June, and it's in Indianapolis again. And basically, if you hit Success Club your first 3 months as a new coach, you earn your ticket. Your ticket is paid for. So you still have to pay for your airfare and for the room, but most of the time we all kind of bunk up together and split rooms. But the actual ticket to the event is paid for, and it's usually like 2 to 3 days long. We have amazing keynote speakers. This next summit, Rachel Hollis from Girl Wash Your Face is one of our keynote speakers, and top coaches will speak, and you get to hang out with your team and have bonding time, and it is sometimes game-changing for some people. When they leave Summit, they go and their business just kind of skyrockets. So it's really important to get to Coaching Summit every year, and why not try and earn your ticket by hitting Success Club in your first 3 months. So I did make it all the way through. That was everything. Danielle, do you have any questions that you think anyone watching this might have?
Not that I can think of. I took good notes. That was a good presentation.
Oh, good. Thank you. So yeah, this is recorded for anybody watching this. And then I think we can do like more detailed trainings on like social media or inviting, that kind of thing as we go on, just to expand off of it. But that was just the basics. All right, let me stop sharing and